It has been 5 years since Starfield was officially announced, and since that tantalizing E3 reveal, players have been eagerly anticipating Bethesda's latest RPG. While many likely expected a cyberpunk-esque catastrophe, for the most part fans have been keen to see what the minds behind some of gaming's greatest experiences had to offer. Fortunately, it isn't a disaster, but it's no swan song either. Starfield is a game of promises and pitfalls, one that carries Bethesda's signature style, but ultimately leaves the player wanting something a little bit better. Starfield's greatest strength is its lore-filled universe, which is filled with the same sense of promise and excitement as any of Bethesda's other worlds. However, the story that encompasses it is a little disappointing, not least because it takes upwards of 8 to 10 hours to actually get interesting. If you're willing to put up with the mindless fetch quests and little to no meaningful story development for that long, then you will actually be rewarded with a genuinely enthralling experience, as Starfield's latter half is far more engaging. However, if you are hoping to play Starfield for the planet-hopping adventure that it promises, you may want to reconsider. Starfield's intergalactic travel is merely a sequence of loading screens separating each planet. You need to load into your ship, load into the star map, load into the planet's atmosphere, and load onto the planet's surface. Furthermore, once you land on a planet or in a major city, there's no local map to help guide you to any of its key points. All too often, you're left wandering around copy-pasted environments hoping to find a sliver of handcrafted content. When you've loaded onto a new planet, you'll find yourself fighting space pirates, the Crimson Fleet, and looting outposts and bases. Fortunately, combat has had a significant upgrade from previous Bethesda titles and feels far more refined. The first-person gunplay feels simple but weighty, making it accessible and fun. Unfortunately, space combat lacks the same feeling of refinement and doesn't have the wow factor that it should. It's a little underwhelming, and I often found myself skipping space altogether. Once you're done killing pirates and looting bases, you'll be met with the game's terrible inventory system that sees players become over-encumbered all too often. In previous Bethesda games this wasn't such an issue, as it merely slowed the player to a crawl until they were able to offload their loot. However, being over-encumbered in Starfield has significant consequences, as it not only robs you of the ability to fast travel, but it makes you run out of oxygen, thus damaging your health far quicker. Most of the time, I just dumped my excess loot on my companions, but even into the late game, with as many skill points invested into the right skill trees as possible, I was still encountering this inventory issue. However, despite all of Starfield's flaws, I still found myself thoroughly engrossed. If you're willing to invest a significant amount of time into Starfield, you'll find that Bethesda magic we all know and love. There are characters and quests filled with that wonderful charm and witty writing present in Bethesda's games since the early days of Morrowind. You might stumble across quirky scientists hoping to heal trees, an entire faction questline at a nearby kiosk, a woman in desperate need of a coffee, or a whole galaxy-spanning mystery begging to be solved. There is a lot of content to unpack here, and while it takes a lot to fully engage with it, die-hard fans will likely feel rewarded. The game creator is giving Starfield a 7 out of 10. Make sure to like and subscribe for more reviews just like this one.